Hi, it's Luke. Just letting you know I'm on holiday for a couple of weeks. There's going to be no regular Book Was Better, but instead of a new episode, I'm going to dredge up some old classic episodes from the archive. Now, if you are a relatively fresh listener, new listener, and we've done 150 of these things now, you may not have heard of the very early episodes, the first 30 odd of which I had the same co-host every time, Jessica McLeod, who actually was very, very instrumental, her and her husband. They created the podcast and invited me to do it, so Jessica's a huge part of the show. She comes back and does an episode with me whenever she can. You might have heard her on episode 50 and episode 100 and episode 150, to name a couple. But those original episodes are really quite interesting, I think, because that's where the whole dynamic sets up, and we also really learn about all the novelization tropes. It's really us getting our head around this very unique and bizarre medium. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give you one of those classic episodes. So if you've heard it before, you might want to listen again. Otherwise, just delete it. But hopefully for some of you, this is brand new and you can hear the origins of the show and where it all came from. So very excited today to be giving you one of my personal favorites, which is The Net, the film starring Sandra Bullock. And if you have a favourite from the archive that you'd like to hear shared with our newer audience, then by all means mention it in our Facebook discussion group. You can find all those things at fruitlesspursuits.com. There'll be links to all of that. So I'm going to go back to not reading a crappy new novelization and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to The Book Was Better, the podcast where we talk about the book of the movie. I'm Jessica McLeod.
And I am Luke Milton.
Oh, we've got a real treat for you this week. It is Edward J. Grugg presents
The Net.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better. Man, it was so hard not to just... I mean, we make notes for this. I just felt like photocopying the entire book.
It's funny because we rely on the net a lot to get out our message, to connect with people, but I've never really fully understood the internet.
No.
And this is just such
mystery.
a fantastic book to explain it to us.
Yeah, and the dangers. I never realised it was so dangerous.
Yeah, it's actually a very ugly place.
They've got my voice now.
Full of cyberheads.
Oh, disgusting.
I hate them. So, but we're amongst friends here.
Lives.
Hopefully there's no sad cyberheads listening to us now. But yeah, The Net. Look, it's written by Lenore.
Lenore
Fleischer. She wrote the novelizations. Look, this came out in 95. Mm-hmm. You know, internet, that's pretty cutting edge.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. And terrifying.
Absolutely. So you want somebody who's a bit of an expert. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you just have to look at her back catalogue. Annie.
Yep.
Rain Man.
Classic, yep.
Les Miserables.
Great.
How did I do? Did I butcher that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ice Castles. Now, is that the ice skating movie?
I don't know.
I think it is.
It sounds like a movie about, like, sad family stuff to me.
Fame. I think it's both. And Heaven Can Wait.
Good stuff.
So, I don't know how old Lenore is, but my God, it felt like somebody's grandmother explaining the internet to me.
Much like the film, actually. It's amazing. I feel like if I was making a film about something, I would maybe try it out or get someone to talk to me who had tried it out. But I think they just went for some imaginary stuff here.
Well, it's such a crazy paradox, isn't it? Because here's a book that's generally pretty critical of the internet.
Oh, yeah.
But not very factual.
No.
And it's such a shame because if she'd had the internet, she could have researched this book.
Such a good point. Such a good point. People don't know anything.
I agree. I was reading this thinking, we don't have to make any jokes. We just have to read this thing out.
I know.
And people will be slapping their thighs and braying like donkeys and going, oh my God, this is the best book ever. And it is.
We have to read the first part. Because often we read like the first paragraph or something.
Yeah.
And I was reading it and I was like, but it doesn't stop. It's all gold. Let's just read it.
Okay.
The sudden rattle of gunfire from an oversized assault weapon was followed less than a second later by unearthly screams. Blood and brains spattered everywhere, dark scarlet mingling with grisly grey. More shots, more shrieking, even louder this time, the exploding gore more vivid and even wetter.
I'm getting wetter just reading this book. Angela Bennett leaned closer to get a better look. The expression on her face was absorbed, even fascinated. Bodies were falling right and left, but that didn't break her concentration. All her attention remained focused on the screen of her computer. Above the non-stop action of the sadistic and violent CD-ROM game, its name flashed over and over. Wolfenstein 12, in Roman numerals, of course.
Wolfenstein 12.
The graphics were excellent. Day-glow good guys and baddies virtually leapt off the screen. The colours were strong and the sound effects convincingly scary. Wolfenstein 12 was gonna make a bundle at the cash registers. If this puppy could ever get out of the techno trouble, that's the worst kind of trouble, swamping it.
Oh my god, can we talk just for a second about Wolfenstein 12?
Yes, so in 1992, Jess, there was a little game called Wolfenstein 3D.
Great game.
It's a first-person shooter. One of the first, or at least one of the first most popular, well-known ones. And it was a sequel. There were 2 Wolfenstein games before that, but they weren't 3D. And I believe they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or maybe early 90s or something. I did look it up and I've forgotten.
Fair enough.
But I guess the point we're getting to, it's a real fucking game.
I know. Why not just call it, like, Gorenstein or any other thing? Why choose a game that actually exists, make a 12th version of it, and then talk about how horrible it is?
Because versions 4 to 11 don't exist in 95.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. In fact, even now they've done maybe 5 in total.
Yeah.
So many years later. And the only thing I think of, here's Lenore, who's used to writing, Rain Man, Kmart, gotta go to Kmart, definitely Oak Street. And she said to her nephew or something, what's a good name for a video game? And this nephew's just parroted, Wolfenstein. And she's gone, that sounds, so ridiculous. Yeah. Like, she's not worried it's going to be a real thing. Not. And of course, the other problem is she doesn't have the fucking internet to look it up.
Exactly.
So nobody knew back then. How would you know? Pop culture wasn't recorded.
No, it was all a mystery.
Was she going to go and buy some PC Power magazines or something? I don't know.
Yeah, so this CD-ROM game has an internet virus of some kind, apparently. Let's read on.
Yeah, it's yes, I don't know how that works in 95.
Angela's computer, a high-speed, state-of-the-art setup sweetened by every major add-on in the industry afforded, was her bread and butter, her main squeeze, the love of her life, her number one reason for living. She had 3 of them, 3 beautiful babies linked together electronically, but each terminal could operate independently of the others. Whoa! She worked at home, right in the living room of her own small house, as a sort of super analyst, troubleshooting consultant for Cathedral Software, which is what she was doing right now.
Yeah, I like how vague her title is. She was kind of doing stuff on a computer.
She's the computer lady.
Yeah, she works full-time, but she's kind of a troubleshooter, analyst, computer stuff.
It reminds me of when you work in an office, sometimes the older people, if you seem to know how to use Microsoft Word, they decide that you're the computer person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she'll know how to fix it.
Yeah, Google. I used Google, everybody. But they're amazed. They think you're a magician. So then her employers.
Yes, she's on the phone. She's on speakerphone.
To Cathedral Software.
No, to the manufacturer of this game.
Of Wolfenstein.
Who she's been,
Isn't it been released through Cathedral?
Oh, I don't know.
It's very complicated, the net. It's a big, vast net. A lot of networks.
This is a very dynamic game, Mr. DePina, Angela said into the air. The voice of Hubert DePina, manufacturer of Wolfenstein 12, was taut with anxiety as it rasped out of the speakerphone on the desk next to the computer. Be honest, it's violent smut. Its only purpose is to make a buck. The kids will eat this up, but only if you can find out what's crashing this damn thing.
It's a real fucking game. Can you imagine how ID Software felt like reading this book?
Really
a little
hurt.
tear streaming down the
But
cheek.
they're Nazis. You're supposed to be violent to Nazis.
And it's such a, like, it makes me angry as someone who plays games. I mean, it's got art, it's got music, it's got, you know, do people really create those things going, this music's just violence, I don't give a fuck about it, I'm just going to throw it into this game to make a quick buck?
Listen, it's not a work of art like, say, The Net. I mean, come on.
But don't you love, how does the movie start?
Yeah,
Assume I hadn't, let's pretend I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, shit.
How would this movie begin?
It pretty much starts with this, except that it's not Wolfenstein, and it's not, they don't call it violent smut.
But don't you think it's funny, like, this is a fake-out that only the book can afford?
Yes,
like,
that's so true.
It starts out, and it makes you think that this horrible, violent thing's actually happening, and then it's like, oh, no, she's playing a game.
Yes.
But if it was a movie, you'd be sitting there going, like, that motherfucker has about 12 more pixels than Mario. Like, you're not going to think it's, you're watching a current affairs program.
Exactly. As much as she describes it, it's not like you watch that and you want to cry for the lost lives of the Nazi soldiers.
Because things weren't particularly realistic back in 95.
Not really.
I gotta tell you.
The colours might have been bright, but the resolution just wasn't there.
That'd be pre-PlayStation 1.
It's blocky as shit. It really is.
Fuck that. I'm sweary a lot today. It's usually you that's sweary.
Well, I've reformed.
Oh.
So the game has a glitch that fucks it up if you hit escape.
Thank you.
So this is how Angela fixes it. And listen, I'm not a computer analyst. I don't know. I'm assuming this is pretty much how you fix viruses.
Yeah. Troubleshoot is the term, Jess.
Sorry.
Did you learn nothing from the net?
Now Angela, not daring to breathe, went to work in earnest. Her slender fingers began to fly across the keyboard until they were a blur. Having diagnosed the virus, she had to move really fast to find a cure for it before it became fatal. A terminal illness, she thought to herself, with a wry grin at the lameness of the joke. Lenore, don't put yourself down like that.
No, you're doing a great job. Very vivid typing scene. One of my favourites. Whitley Strieber would be just astounded by it.
One after another, her keystrokes yanked down diagnostic windows, which she eyeballed at lightning speed, the clicking keys making instant choices, inspecting, testing. Angela Bennett chased the destructive virus across cyberspace until she cornered it like a cat corners a mouse.
What? So, I don't even understand where the online component comes into this game. She's troubleshooting this game, which is available online, and she's chasing a virus through...
I think that the whole film and book make no distinction between computer, internet, cyberspace, CD-ROM, floppy disk. These are all the exact same thing.
No, everything's like, you put in a disk and it does all this stuff, and you go, this is a 1.3 megabyte disk. How is all this stuff stored on it? It's like, oh no, it's hacking the internet. And you're like, what?
Yeah. In fact, she took a bright red blank diskette from a box of them and slipped it into the A drive, hit the copy key, of course, and began downloading the insidious virus onto the backup disk, as though injecting a biological virus into a test tube.
This is tense stuff, isn't it?
And I'm glad she's using metaphors I can understand. So a computer virus is literally exactly like a biological virus, essentially.
But did you ever feel that when, in the 90s, when you would put a disc into your computer and just go, oh man, someone should make a movie out of this. This is intense.
Especially when they're bright red.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Danger.
Faster.
Speaking of intense, Angela sounds kind of scary to me.
Sexy to me.
Angela grinned, revealing strong white teeth framed by full, shapely lips.
They need to remind us that although she's smart and a nerd, by the end of the story, a blowjob isn't entirely out of the question. I kind of like that.
And of course, she orders her dinner from pizza.net. The future.
And it does still exist. I looked it up.
Oh, really?
I did check all these websites and things. I kept thinking, oh, that's got to be there. Do you notice the book seems to suggest that she eats like a pizza a day?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
She eats a pizza a day and drinks one martini. That's her life. She does not look like a woman who eats a pizza a day.
She must do a lot of vomiting, I'm thinking. But meanwhile, The very unfuturistic Undersecretary for Defense buys a pear the old-fashioned way.
Oh, that's right. That's how the film starts. The film starts with him buying an apple, must have been changed in a later draft, and then goes on to her. So this is the whole opening scene from the film.
And I like this. This is how Americans talk, apparently. The fruit stand owner watched dumbfounded as Lincoln disappeared. He looked from the car to the greenback in his hand. You ever had a greenback in your hand?
I wish.
Yeah. Ask Miss Piggy. And back again. You see that? He demanded of his brother-in-law who helped him out at the stand. Goddamn guy just gave me $100 for a lousy pear. Republican, snorted the other man in disdain.
Maybe my grasp of American politics is faulty. That's not really what I associate with Republicans. Random acts of generosity towards the lower class.
Just that he's got $100. Don't you find even now in like 2012, I guess there's, the economic crisis and everything. Whenever I'm on forums and things, people like $60, $80, $100, they talk about it like it's $1,000.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so guilty at like some of the stupid shit I buy.
But I think that's because everything's so cheap in America.
Yeah.
Like, someone was saying, I can't believe I had to pay $5 to go to the movies. You don't know you're alive.
Yeah.
Kids today.
Goddamn.
Be sick.
We pay $125 to see remakes. Kids and their damn video games. So this is the undersecretary on the phone to his son. Okay, buddy, final offer, non-negotiable. For every buckle-down hour you give Algebra 2, you get 2 hours of quality time with Nintendo and Sega. Deal? Just whatever you do, don't tell your mother.
Yeah.
Nintendo and Sega.
Yeah,
I like that. I like the little multitasking kid who was doing both at the same time.
Obviously, they couldn't get money from either, so they're like, well, fuck you.
I listen to a lot of American podcasts and they say Sega.
Sega?
Which amazes me, because when you turn on the fucking machine, it goes, Sega!
Oh my god!
No, it's Sega! Sega, damn it! Lousy goddamn Sega!
Their Segas are probably made of aluminum.
Yeah, I think they don't take in the whole word. They just start it and go, well, that's a Seg, right? We've got that bit. And then, Sega, fine, let's go with it. Fuckers. And then I did not see this coming. He eats the pear, and then he shoots himself in the head. See, I was going, this idiot talking to his kids. We're going to get a lot of mileage out of this idiot. And then, bam, gone. Suicide.
All the humour potential is it's kind of wasted there.
Sucked out of the book. Youch. But back to Angela.
Oh, yes.
Who has finished her pizza. I like this little quote.
Time for dessert. Angela peered into her refrigerator, which yawned back emptily.
So Christ, even the fridge is bored at this stage.
The fridge is like a metaphor for her life. Like, Lenore just goes on and on about how empty and pathetic her life is because she spends all her time on the internet and doesn't go out.
We're getting to that. We're getting to a lot of that. But I liked how she described every single item in the fridge in great detail.
Yeah, seriously. Everything. And then, pawing through her extensive CD collection until she found her favourites, Angela put a handful of them on the record changer.
With no Napster?
Seriously,
what kind of
Angela.
net book is this?
Exactly. But the internet was Angela Bennett's drug of choice, her relaxation, her recreation, the focus of her free hours. What a loser.
But even today, there are still older people that think that the internet is just like this childish fad that won't really take off.
A waste of time. Yeah, I know. This whole section about how her life is so terrible because she spends so much time on the net, it's starting to make me feel bad about myself. I don't want to go out of my house and see people. Fuck that.
And you're not exaggerating. It really is about 3 pages worth of her just editorializing about this.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, she really does editorialize, and she's obsessed with Sandra Bullock's teeth. She comes back to him again. Angela's teeth were healthy and white and even, thanks to good genetics, a diet rich in calcium, double cheese on her pizzas, and a little judicious orthodontistry when she was in grade school. When she smiled, those teeth dazzled, and it seemed as though this strong, vigorous young woman was going to take huge bites out of life. Sounds terrifying. No wonder she has no friends.
I'm becoming extremely orally fixated with Sandra Bullock because of this book.
She's going to take great bites out of you.
Out of life. So there are full pages about how Angela's wasting her life on the internet with no real friends, and it keeps listing the things she's missing out on, including, I thought this was amusing, she had no hassles of office politics to contend with, no sexual harassment in the workplace.
Bummer.
Doesn't know what she's missing
Can't
out
she
on.
go to, like, bumpinch.com?
And here we go. Angela Bennett was turning into a computer geek, a cyberhead, whose only friends were hackers, nerds, and geeks like herself. The faceless population of the net. Just pixels on the screen with nutty identifying icons and call name pseudonyms.
And of course, you can find me at Monsticle on Twitter and at Luke Milton on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm very narcissistic.
Yeah, it's so incredibly judgmental. It's amazing, isn't it?
More
editorializing. Which was a shame, because she was such a pretty girl. If she'd only fix her hair, which flopped into her eyes, and wear better clothes than those flannel shirts and jeans she was addicted to, she'd be a very pretty girl. Why not? Jeez, Mum, leave me alone. It's grunge.
I hate this thing, though, where there are people... Again, I keep coming back to the present. People that are really critical, that have this exact same attitude as Lenore, that everyone's wasting their time on the internet
Exactly.
and, why don't you make real friends and stuff. You've got people communicating globally. I mean, look at the people that have supported the podcast all over the world that, you would never contact with. And these people who think you're wasting your life have never talked to anyone that doesn't live outside a 10-kilometre radius. It's the greengrocer and the baker and stuff like that. It just felt Lenore was like, if only she'd stop communicating with a vast global network, solving huge companies' problems, and put on some fucking lipstick.
Yeah, for Christ's sake. You're not going to get laid that way.
And this shit just goes on. There's pages on how wasted she is, including her shapely breasts and rounded hips. And I just thought, surely she can broadcast those on her webcam.
She is wasting them by not monetizing them.
And this just amazed me. This is so crazy. This is so Lenore just going at it. Angela Bennett was not unlike Wordsworth's poetical heroine Lucy, about whom he wrote, "A maid whom there were none to praise and very few to love." Or perhaps Angela was closer to the lines from Thomas Gray, "Full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air." So I had a go at this, Jess. I thought, well, that's all good, but let's modernise it. Obviously, she didn't have the internet. She needed some help.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try this. Or perhaps she was more like Tomb Raider's Lara Croft, deliberately isolating herself in dead places, searching for dead treasures, while her own treasures, such as her strong thighs and bountiful pointy breasts, went unplundered. For who would raid her tomb?
Yeah, the whole point of this is basically, she's a woman. Her job is to be looked at. Why is she wasting her time just communicating with people? No one can see her. She's pretty. So, now we...
Get out and use those lips.
Now we meet the villain of the movie. The internet. Nobody owned it. Everybody used it. And all you needed was a computer with a modem and time on your hands. Wow!
Takes up a lot of time.
So this is Angela chatting online, and this just blew my mind. Her own voice came out of her computer speakers, digitalised and disembodied. One of the stranger qualities of the internet chat lines and bulletin boards was the weird sound effects. Nope!
Have you ever encountered that, ever?
That's something, I understand why movies do that, but seriously...
I'd love that, though.
That's the thing about chat lines. Yep.
I'd love it if you were at work and, you heard this ding-ling, no, this haruga as my email went into your inbox, and it was like, "Hello, Jess. Are we recording tonight? Love you."
And just if every tweet was just read out by a dead robot voice.
And also, apparently, in 1995, you couldn't say the word ass online.
Gandalf 361, self-named for the wizard in the J.R.R. Tolkien novels, thanks, identified him/herself. 86 the language, Ice. Cybercops are listening. You get us all tossed from the net.
Yeah, kicked off the internet for saying ass.
Jesus
I mean, what would they make of Goatsy?
Oh, God. His message was followed by : close brackets, geek speak for a smiley face, which became obvious if you gave your computer, or your head, a turn to the right.
She loves to over-explain everything. I almost, read this and thought, my God, Lenore Fleischer is the beginnings of Wikipedia.
Yeah, Yeah, in fact, yeah, she's incredibly inaccurate and badly written, so that's a good start.
Sorry, Lenore, we love you. I'm sure Rain Man's great. I'm sure that's in your wheelhouse.
Mad, that'd be brilliant.
Now when we got the contents of her fridge, I was bored, but now we get a listing of the contents in her shopping cart.
Yes.
So how much fun must Lenore Fleischer be to hang out with? It'd be all, you cyberheads have no lives, unlike me. Now let you tell me what's in my refrigerator. In painstaking detail.
So Angela works at Cathedral Software, which apparently designs websites as well as troubleshooting and finding... It's really confusing. But software and the web seem to be basically the same thing.
I think they are, yeah.
Her colleague sends her a diskette of a website, as you do, to show her what appears to be a virus. Although I'm more interested in the fact that this is the worst website ever made.
Before you describe it, I'd just like to say that instead of announcing our websites at the end, we're actually going to send you each a disc.
Yes, please sign up for our diskette program.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and we'll have the link on the disc. We'll have their whole website, hopefully.
Yeah, just put the website on there.
And that'll save you some unnecessary clicks.
Plus a virus. The program began to load, and a classic painting of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's face appeared on the screen, while the opening bars of Eine kleine Nachtmusik came from the computer speakers, played on the harpsichord. Suddenly the music changed into a heavy metal riff.
Blowing my mind!
A bolt of lightning on the monitor, and the image of a guitar-playing skeleton appeared, and with it the words, Mozart's Ghost. "You've just hit Mozart's Ghost Net," said the skeleton. "The ultra-mega-major web server that'll access your head to everything about the hottest band on the internet."
I did try to go to mozartsghost.net.
Oh, it's not there.
It's not there.
Oh, that's so sad.
Had some trouble.
But it's an ultra-mega-major web server.
Yeah, well that's...
Web server, website, software, disk. It's all the same thing.
It's on a disc too, which is great. And when you click on the pie in the corner of the Mozart's Ghost webpage, you see flashes of schematics, wiring diagrams, account numbers, and grid patterns, which I thought, that's impressive for the 1.3 meg, but no, apparently that's all online or...
Yeah. So it has a glitch or a virus which enables you to access another part of the internet.
Did she put the internet on the disc?
I'm assuming. Well, that's how you get the internet, right? You get the disc and you install it.
Yeah, you send away for it. Takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Cathedral Software was cutting edge, a large corporation, but it was largely staffed by techie refugees from the 60s with massive and convoluted cyber brains. What? What kind of drugs did you have to take in the 60s to give you a massive and convoluted cyber brain?
That's just such an insane sentence. What a worldview.
It's honestly like she thinks the world is a cartoon and clever people have huge heads. It's so strange.
I'm so nervous about this chair. We've moved the mic to try and stop the computer sound, so now it might sound weird. But I'm on this really squeaky chair, which you can't really hear for us. But if it squeaks, you are going to hear it. So if you do hear it, imagine we are on a creaky ship. Wouldn't that be amazing? A pirate broadcast. We have to record in international waters to avoid all the copyright laws that we're probably breaking by reading out. No, we're reviewing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
less than 10%.
Absolutely. I think she gave it less than 10%. Dale is coming to meet Angela. Dale's her friend, techie friend.
Cyberhead.
Stupid cyberheads with his convoluted cyber brain. But his plane crashes due to interwebs hackery.
Yes!
Or so he thinks. In the split second before he too exploded into smithereens, Dale Hessman suddenly understood who exactly had done this to him and why and how it happened.
Wow.
And no explanation.
And that's it. That's where we leave it.
That's how every chapter of the Da Vinci Code ends, pretty much. He suddenly realised this amazing, astounding thing that you'll find out about 3 chapters later, and it'll be underwhelming.
But don't worry, each chapter is about 1.5 pages long.
No, that's true. My favourite kind. And Dale's boss is Russ Melbourne. Do you think he's Australian, Jess? Is he Australian in the movie? Did you find anyone...
No, he's not
I didn't watch the movie. You didn't see anyone go, "G'day, mate, I'm Russ Melbourne.
I've got a massive and convoluted cyber brain.
I brought me son to work in me pouch."
No. So there's chaos at the airport when Angela arrives for her holiday to Mexico.
Yeah, now this confused me. I don't know, is this how airports work? The computerized departure and arrival screens, usually models of correct advice for travellers, blinked madly with conflicting information. The same flights were listed as arriving, delayed, cancelled, crashed, hijacked, all at the same time, rendering the screens useless. Now, I know this is computer tomfuckery, but could you expect under normal circumstances that just now and then you might be going, arrived, late, hijacked? Can't be very comforting for the people waiting in the lounge. And crashed. That one's no, just look up the screens. That one's crashed, but the other ones are on time.
Was Mum on the 661 or the 651? Because the 661 has crashed. Yeah, the computers were not only down, they were going nuts.
The two mutually exclusive. Like, when my computer's down, it's down. It's not going nuts.
No, it's not.
It's going nuts. It's very much up.
Yes, that's true.
And, what do you think of... So, there's this overall theme here, and this is something I encounter in everyday life as well, of this sort of technology fear. Like, do you work in a workplace where older people, when the network goes down or something like that happens, you know, tut and shake their head and be like...
We're so over-reliant on technology.
In the past, this wouldn't happen, you know.
Yep.
And I always think, toilets break occasionally. Should we get rid of them as well? You don't see people going, oh, well, I told you. Especially in America where we know they clog up constantly.
They do, yep.
Maybe there are, like, old people in America that go, and they put the shovel over their shoulder and they head out the back.
That always it drives me crazy because I always want to say, yeah, but... You know, if we didn't have computers, we'd get about a third or a quarter of the work done. So now that the network's down for 2 hours, just go make yourself a fucking coffee. Relax.
I think it makes them nervous.
But it's such a theme it's been a theme in science fiction, you know, pretty much since the 70s, this idea of an over-reliance on technology and, you know, when it goes down, what do you do? Then you're fucked.
And there was a bit of a Hal evil computer thing going on as well. Did you notice, like, when she bought her groceries, when she scanned a credit card, the cash register's like, hello, Angela.
Yeah, he knows who I am, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, kind of ominous messages coming over the airport terminals and stuff.
Remember when everyone was so freaked out about identity theft? Like, that was the big thing. Like,
well, that is this book.
Yeah, exactly. But remember when it was a thing? Like, you know, there would be shows on Oprah about it all the time, and, you know, you can't let, you know, someone's going to steal your water bill out of your mailbox and you'll be fucked. Anyway.
Well, we're going to see the ramifications of that very shortly. But for now, Mexico!
So this is Angela on the beach. And I remember seeing this in the 90s and laughing at this scene. Reaching over, she grabbed her laptop and pulled it towards her, opening the cover and switching it on. Now she was an internaut again, travelling through cyberspace. Yeah, on the beach, in Mexico, in 1995.
She had access to some extremely long cables.
Of course,
unless you know how people, you know, tie a string between two tin cans. You might have done that with a conch shell or something.
I think that probably was Mexican internet in 1995.
Do you think Lenore, I want to say Leonore all the time.
I noticed.
Lenore plays a lot of games herself. She fished out Enigma. I got to spell this for you.
Yeah, this is bad.
ENYGGMA, a challenging computer game. Putting the diskette in the A drive, she booted up and began to play, reaching level 3 in under 4 minutes.
Man, that is a shitty game.
I love how there's, like, Lenore assumes that there's this, like, gold standard of, you know, every game, like, that's a reference that if you beat it, like, is it a good thing to beat it in 4 minutes to get to level 3? Is it a bad thing? It's like there's an international standard in her, you know, like everyone's agreed at some point, all right, we're going to make games. Level 1
just going to be bullshit.
Should take 5 to 6 minutes.
But yeah,
crazy.
I mean, we've seen how Angela's fingers fly over those keys. You know, she can do anything with a computer.
Challenging to spell, this game, at any rate. And then she meets Jack Devlin, who is the love interest /
evil
villain.
Evil computer man.
And is thrilled that he too has a computer. she'd open up to Jack like a flower to the sun.
Oh,
that's
beautiful.
that's a metaphor, surely.
Whew.
Pushing open her petals. And I like this. He was treating her like an attractive woman, but at the same time as an equal.
Oh, Jesus.
I always thought those were mutually exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus Christ. So you can tell Angela and Devlin are internet weirdos when they bond over this, and this is fucking creepy. Okay, my most embarrassing secret. Let me think. You know Breakfast at Tiffany's? Okay, then you'll know what I'm talking about here. I had this sort of identity crisis when I was 13. Christ, this is mortifying. I used to think I was one of the characters. Audrey Hepburn, laughed Angela. Not that mortifying. No, the cat. Fuck, she's lucky it's 1995 and he's ashamed of it. If it was today, he'd tell her he was furry otherkin and tell her all about his Tumblr, and he'd be wearing a tail on the beach.
He'd have drawings of himself with 12 tits, tentacles, and being rebirthed or something.
What the fuck?
Awful. So she goes onto this his boat. And Lenore is totally obsessed with CDs. Did you notice that?
I know.
I always wondered if this was like an anti-Napster kind of campaign to remind everyone that CDs existed.
I think to Lenore, CDs are cutting-edge technology in 1995.
Devlin rummaged under the counter and came up with a handful of CDs. Hope you're crazy for Motown, he smiled. You're female. Does that get you going?
It gets me wet.
Yes.
Absolutely. Look, once a guy says that on a date, you know it's going to be good.
So he's got a handful of CDs. Hope you're crazy for Motown, he smiled. Only slightly less insane than I am about Otis Redding, replied Angela.
As a man, obviously, you can testify that that's
hot.
That's the good stuff.
Jack's smile widened to an Irish grin as he pulled out a handful of CDs and got the music going. So he had 2 handfuls of CDs at this point. I don't know how he put them on. He was just walking around with these handfuls of discs, mashing them into the player.
Well, I think it's kind of cute that.
Come on, Angela, I can't carry all of these CDs. You take some. Look at all these CDs we're holding.
You said you were crazy for Motown. I like that when Angela plays CDs, she puts him in her record changer. Like, Lenore is clearly smitten with the idea of CDs.
Change them into records so she can listen to them. That's how CDs work. That was Lenore's understanding. So, yes, did you... I love this book so much. I'm so lost.
It's so great.
Notice that when they have dinner on the island, it keeps saying that they are the only guests in the entire place. But then they serve up a roasted pig. Doesn't seem like a cost-effective menu item for a place with such a little footfall. Okay, here we go. Oh, I like this.
So tell me, what's your specialty? Almost everything. Beta testing, mainly. Jack whistled. Miles out of my league, he told her admiringly.
I was just thinking, oh man, Jack would be so impressed that I beta tested World of Warcraft's Mists of Pandaria alongside a million other people. You can just see us there getting onto Panda Island, respecking our characters, and him walking past going, you guys, I tell you what, I could never do that. You guys are rocking it.
This is great. Now, this is very... Well, I was going to say it's very 90s, but it's actually very kind of 70s. Angela is a coward hiding from life because she quit smoking. But you quit? She nodded. Really? I refuse to quit, Devlin continued. I figure you've got to work a few things in life without a net. Or how are you going to know you're alive?
Subliminal!
Feeling adventurous, he challenged. Angela tilted her head to glance at him. What do you have in mind? He held the Newport out to her. Dare you risk it? How else do you know you're alive? She laughed. They stopped, facing each other. Jack Devlin held the cigarette to Angela's lips, placing his other hand lightly on her back. Tentatively, shyly, she leaned into him a little. She was enmeshed in the moonlight and the spell of the tropics, the smell of tobacco and tweed.
Such a turn on tobacco.
It's like 1965 Mad Men scene. Also, where's the smell of tweed coming from? They're in the tropics. He's wearing a linen jacket. Tobacco and tweed.
I've always preferred denim.
The smell of denim.
I feel like with some of these novelizations, we saw the last remnants of the smoking thing in movies. Because remember in Stargate, you've got... It was Kurt Russell, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a masculine thing.
Yeah, and he's got that little kid. He's like, come on, don't be a pussy. Get this cigarette into you. Yeah.
Be civilized. But yeah, that's so crazy. Idea of like a sexy, intimate scene being based around a cigarette is so nuts to me.
And bear in mind again that I may or may not have seen this film. So I'm reading it, I'm thinking, is she robbed by some kind of monkey man? The thief was not a boy at all, but a middle-aged man, tiny, wizened, wide-eyed, as Jack Devlin held onto him tightly.
Yeah, no, I don't know where... He's a short guy. I don't know where she's getting this shit from.
He's a monkey man! And oh my god, like, they're on the boat, and he's ready to kill her. Like, he's coming out with the gun.
He's got a gun in his pocket.
And then she fucks him.
Yeah.
No, and I was just like, oh... And there's, like, no sex scene, just... Later, after they had made long, satisfying love, I wanted the details. I wanted he thrust his member between her perfectly square white teeth.
She took a huge bite out of life. Yeah, so this is a slippery slope. 1 minute you're taking a cigarette, the next you're getting a bit too lively.
Been a while since we've done an unintentionally sexual. Mm-hmm. Angela pulled her clothing on, but it was only a thin blouse and skirt and was still more than a little damp from the spray.
Oh, I hate that.
Jack Dale. I wonder how insensitive is this?
Oh, this isn't good at all.
Colorado, shrugged Angela, expressionless. You grow up with guns. Ouch.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Let's move on.
With horror, Angela recognised her own words from the cyber chat bulletin board. How did he know? Had he been listening in? For how long and why? Suddenly she felt as though she'd been raped.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like that every time someone leaves a comment on our site.
You've been listening to us? How?
So
what?
vulnerable. Throwing back what I said back at me? I didn't know. I'm looking in the room. I can only see Jess. I don't remember installing the internet disc. Solve it? Was she nuts? She was no Sherlock Holmes. What Angela wanted was to get back home to the States, to Venice, to change the locks on her doors and forget she ever knew Jack Devlin or saw this damn disc. Wouldn't it be great if that was the final sentence of the book?
And so she did.
No, we weren't that lucky.
So her identity has been stolen by Jack Devlin and the evil internet baddies. But she, for some reason, she accepts a false name in Mexico, gets back to America, and the trouble begins. Angela remembered where she had parked her car, H4, but when she got off the shuttle bus at the LAX long-term lot, there was an RV parked in her space, its bumper plastered with pro-environmental stickers. That's weird. My car was covered with anti-environmental stickers.
Screwed you, Wales.
And
save the baby seals. Save one for me. I'll bring my own bat.
This is a section where I think Lenora's running out of adjectives. She stood there on the street corner in Venice with a stolen cell phone pressed to her ear, listening to the weirdest and most terrifying thing that had happened to her since all this terrifying weirdness had begun.
But there are a limited number, right? Which is why it's generally good to keep your novel under 80 pages.
Please. Always keep your novelization under 80 pages. We appreciate it.
You love how this book's all about how advanced technology is, but they use Polaroid cameras, CDs, payphones, car phones.
Your car phones, give me a break. That is exciting stuff. Yeah, even in 95, it's getting a little dated. But here's Lenore's critical mother instincts revving up again. Angela practically hurled herself into the front seat. Go, go, she urged, near hysteria. Just please go, Alan. Champion smiled, but his eyes were puzzled. Nice to see you, too. Hey, I'm not a cab. Say hi. He was right. She was behaving like an idiot.
If only she'd brush that hair.
People are trying to kill her, but she could be a little nice to her.
Put on some lipstick.
Come on.
And this is why she doesn't have a man.
Exactly. But, so he's her ex-boyfriend, and their relationship is really creepy and gross. She had always been timid with people, afraid of life, and as both her shrink and her lover. He had seen her before at her most vulnerable. The Angela Bennett he remembered was soft and needy, a fatherless fawn, a homeless kitten. Ew! That is deeply, deeply disturbing to me.
And I've never been to a shrink myself, but is this how they operate? He couldn't stand it. She was weirding him out. Taking a couple of steps towards her, Alan grabbed Angela by her shoulders and looked deeply into her eyes. Look at me, he insisted as she tried to turn her face away. You're freaking me. If you're not you, who do you think you are? Yeah.
My experience of therapy has been pretty much like that. I tell the therapist things and they grab me and they slap me around and they say, you're freaking me out. What do you mean you're depressed? What the fuck is your problem?
And that wasn't a typo from me. The book does actually say, you're freaking me.
Yeah.
It's the net, she breathed, her eyes going wide. They must have watched everything I did on the net, followed my credit cards. Our whole lives are on the computer. So I'm still waiting for a ridiculously huge-breasted woman to turn up at my door and go, so, I hear you like Star Wars. Hasn't happened.
How did you know? So Angela uses all her hacking skills to avoid detection as she uses the net. She couldn't enter the net by the front door. They'd be waiting for her, intercepting as soon as she accessed the net address. She'd have to go in through the servants' entrance, using a different packet. So, of course, she uses what every internet user knows is the safest, most neutral address of all. Angela's screen lit up with the words, L'Internet Suisse, bonjour. Welcome to the Swiss Internet.
Do you think that you and I could get a job welcoming people to the Australian internet? G'day! Welcome to our Down Under internet. Look at our selection of lol dingoes.
Enjoy this gif of a wombat. It's pretty much all it is, that one gif.
I know it doesn't look like a gif, but they don't move much.
Okay, so here we have a note from you. Read the crazy editorial on page 107.
Yeah, this is one of those things.
I guess you were too lazy to write it out.
I couldn't write it out because it was too much. It was just so good. Pieces were beginning to fall into place. Everything they had done to us so far had been accomplished through the criminal alteration of computer records. They were breaking the law using the internet as their unwitting accomplice. Angela's driving license was in the computer. Her car's license plate was in the computer. Her credit cards were in the computer. Her automatic teller card that gave her the access to her checking account. And she still had to go to the Piggly Wiggly, mind you. The number of her safe deposit box that held her important documents like her bank mortgage and the deed to her home, these were all in a database somewhere. The computer could tell exactly what Angela Bennett was worth, how much she had in checkings and savings, what her monthly car and mortgage payments were, how much equity she had in her home, what she spent her money on, what software she'd bought for her computers, even who her friends were. In George Orwell's apocalyptic novel 1984, he wrote, Big Brother is watching you, but Orwell in his vision of the future could not imagine, a future in which there were thousands of Big Brothers, hundreds of thousands armed with nothing more than a keyboard and a password, and all of them watching you. Every time you make a purchase, they see. When you fill your prescription at the local pharmacy, make a bank deposit or an ATM transaction, pay your utility bills, apply for a passport, they buy a seat on a plane, 1,000 Big Brothers are watching you. As Orwell had predicted, privacy was now a thing of the past. Cyberspace snooping is a commonplace today. Anyone wanting could... It just goes on and on for pages and pages of paranoid tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy bullshit. Oh my God.
So basically, and the upshot of this in 2012 is that I get ads on my Facebook telling me how to lose weight fast.
And I just hyperventilated.
No, you didn't.
I get make your penis bigger and destroy her. And I'm like, wow, that sounds dangerous.
I get, basically lose weight so he'll want to make his penis bigger for you.
Yeah.
Right now he doesn't care.
That's all the internet's really about in 2012.
Yeah.
Penises.
So, Angela turns to her cyber chat friends. But wait, this guy on the boat has parroted back her words from this forum. How does she know that she can trust them? Luckily, it's really easy to find out. Who is Iceman? She typed, clicking on his icon, a little skull. Was she typing while she clicks? Does she type after she clicks? At once, the screen scrolled the information. Angela smiled. Iceman, aka Kelly Mann, was 12 years old. No threat there, but also not much help. Yeah, police records can be changed via a laptop in seconds, but internet profiles are sacred truths, as we all know.
Even in 95, you type in who is Iceman, she's going to be coming out going, okay, he's an X-Man. Sounds like his friends could be handy. And he can turn into ice. Odd, could be handy. Let's try for it. But she decides instead she's going to meet Cyber Bob IRL.
Oh, yeah.
Which explains is in real life. Just in case you...
Right.
So, oh my God. How many internet myths is this guy going to dispel when he turns up and realizes that Angel looks like Sandra Bullock?
Yes, I know.
Everyone's going to be going, oh, Cyber Bob, you're going to turn up. She's going to be this, 70-year-old man.
Yeah, exactly. Just realizing that she's female, let alone Sandra Bullock, is going to be...
She's going to be like, hi, I'm Angel. And he's going to go, get the fuck out.
She knew what he was trying to tell her. A name like Cyberbob did sound foolish if you didn't know the people of the internet.
Yeah. We know them very well. We're used to their foolishness.
Okay, so she goes to meet him at the fair for some reason.
Yeah, like a carnival-y kind of thing on the... Yeah.
On the boardwalk.
On the boardwalk, yep.
This is creepy. A clown in a bright pink plush rabbit suit, complete with long ears and buck teeth, wandered through the crowd, teasing and tickling the delighted children, annoying the grown-ups. Thank God the internet is there so he can meet a whole community of people who are into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was creeped out that he was teasing and tickling them with his tongue.
Jesus.
Did this take you by surprise? I don't know if this is in the film, but this kind of shocked me late in the book.
This is not in the film.
Angela slapped at him ineffectually. Devlin warded her blows off with ease. Not exactly the category you fit into, she yelled. I'm surprised you didn't kill me, then fuck me.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Angela.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, the book suddenly gets really blue.
Yeah, it does.
And after that, all these fucks start coming into it. And I was like, this is a book for adults? I was shocked.
This is what happened when Devlin catches Angela. Angela's gorge rose. He wasn't talking about really knowing another human being through sharing of feelings, thoughts and ideas, and meeting of hearts and minds. He was talking about accessing information illicitly through cyberspace spying and using that illegally obtained advantage to gain power to control human destinies. So like Facebook does.
Pretty much. I had a question. Angela's gorge rose. What's a gorge? Is that like a finge?
Yeah, that's right. Jesus Christ. So the cyber terrorists have a really weird agenda, which, I don't know, it doesn't really play out in the book, in the film, I mean. It's not about what I want, he shouted. It's about what my employers want. Take a look around you. He made a contemptuous gesture, a wave at the mobs of happy people. Do you think things are working? They believe they can make things better. What is he even talking about? They're going to fix carnivals by hacking them?
Yeah, they're going to...
What the fuck?
They're going to rig the carnival games even more. I don't know what's happening.
So the baddies take Alan's medical records and he dies. And this is a great scene, which is in the movie. The computer. The goddamn murdering computer. It had killed Alan. Acting purely out of the instinct of rage, Angela Bennett lashed out and swept the computer off the desk, sending it crashing to the floor.
I was just reading this going, please let the climax be Angela having, this physical fight with the computer. She slams a fist down on it and the disc pops out and it hits her in the throat and she's like, ah! That she's pummeling the keys and she gets her leg caught up in its cord.
So
falls into the printer.
Angela finally realizes what's been obvious to everyone else all along, which is that the guy selling security software is behind the hackers. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but Lenore really wants to make sure we get it. There's an old folk saying, Angela thought, don't send the cat out to buy cream. Another piece of folk wisdom goes like this. Never put the fox in charge of the henhouse. Here's the analogy. Assume you intend to secure your home against burglars and you hire a security firm which comes to your house and installs a sophisticated alarm system. Only what you don't know is that your security firm is run and staffed by burglars. It keeps going for another 2 paragraphs. I get it.
I don't get it. With the cat?
Yeah.
Don't send the cat out to buy cream.
But is the cat the fox? It's really confusing.
Because he's going to come back with cheeseburgers.
I found this I found really offensive. So Angela gets to San Francisco for the story's climax. Painted canvas banners were stretched over the street, announcing an AIDS awareness walk and candlelight vigil that night. Oh, because AIDS is caused by a virus, like a computer virus. It's cute.
Well done.
Nice.
Yes.
Real nice analogy.
And Angela She gets everyone out of the building by how does what happens?
Yeah, so she needs to get everyone out of the building so she can get access to the fake Angela's computer. So she gets on a computer and clicks on the icon that triggers the fire alarm. So that's brilliant. You know, much better than lighting a fire in a wastebasket like in every other film. Wish my computer at work had a button to set off the fire alarm.
I want an escape key that ejects me into the river. Yeah, I'll just do that right now.
Oops, wrong key!
See you later, soccer! Splash.
This is pretty great. Poor Lenore. At the far corner, she could see the AIDS parade already in progress. I don't think they call it a parade.
I know, and she writes, the demonstrators made their slow death march down the broad avenue. I almost felt like they were, I'm going to creak this chair. Oh, our ship. Look at that. I saw a dolphin. I thought they were almost overcompensating for the fact that the guy shot himself at the beginning because the computer had faked that he had AIDS, that's right. That he had AIDS, but he was really sort of a homophobic character, wasn't he? And it was so insensitive that because of that he would shoot himself in the head that I thought they were trying to like kind of make good at the end.
So it was weird. It was so weird.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yes.
Stupid book.
So the cathedral programmers and analysts would soon be returning to work. But it's late enough to have a candlelit vigil. It's time to go home.
Oh, it's the city,
that's a good rule of thumb.
City that never sleeps.
Hope that is what it's called, yes. But of course, the bad lady who's taken over Angela's identity is anxious to get back to her desk and stop her. Come on, she muttered, showing her impatience visibly. A co-worker smiled at her with empathy. You have to go to the John too, huh?
Comedy.
I think Lenore's getting a little bit cranky by the end of this book. She says, the clever little bitch and all the fucking confusion.
Did you notice, I like this, in one part Devlin does something and she concludes the paragraph with the sentence, the bungling asshole. And then later on she concludes a paragraph with the sentence, the lying bastard. And I just thought, what a great device. Like, if Lenore leaves anything to us, I reckon that's it. So, just to try this out, Jess, this is Richie Rich, which we did before. Just see if this works for you. How'd she do it so fast, Mr. Rich asked. I've only been gone for a week, the lying asshole. Professor Keenbean invented some sort of photon or particle maximizer or something like that, his wife said. It seems to do the job. The bungling bastard. It's good, isn't it?
It's great. It really helps. I really want to read her adaptation of Annie.
Spices things up. Fucking orphans.
And then, man, the whole thing is wrapped up with the stupidest ending, the stupidest Deus Ex Machina ever. Angela pulled out the backup disk and thrust Dale's red virus disk, the one containing Mr. Depina's Wolfenstein 12 virus, into the A drive. She reached for the keyboard to hit escape, the one keystroke that would wipe out the entire gatekeeper system. What?
Yeah.
This is so confusing.
Yeah. It's a bit of a, I don't know, like end of Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah, viruses, they can do anything. It's a virus eating through the mainframe.
Plus, did you notice she murdered Devlin by smashing his head in with a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, that was hardcore. That was pretty cool.
Was that in the film?
Yes, it was. It was great. It was the best moment.
All right, and the ending.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're from, well, how far we do things? In its final ravages of the gatekeeper system, the face and record of Ruth Marks, that's the identity she got when hers disappeared, dissolved into nothingness. Only Angela Bennett was left, and she was going home.
Home to her little house and her garden, and home to the person she loved most. She'd get her mother out of county and bring her back to Venice, and they'd play Chopin duets again, even if her mother didn't know the notes anymore. What did that matter? All that matters was the love her daughter had for her. Angela Bennett would be Angela Bennett again, but with a big difference. She had left behind her old, fearful, reclusive life, as a chrysalis discards its outgrown covering when it emerges as a butterfly. The new Angela Bennett would fly. You know what? I think that what she's learnt by the end of this whole experience is the world outside is terrifying and dangerous. Never leave the fucking house.
Plus she murdered someone. Are they going to let her go?
Yeah, no, she just gets over that.
Okay.
That's fine. That was Ruth Marks.
That's
She just
fine.
walks away.
That was that Ruth Marx bitch. I didn't kill him. Well, the net.
Oh my God, that was such a pleasure. Thank you so much to Edward J. Grugg, my loving husband, who went to the trouble of ordering this
off.
Guess where he got it? The net.
Holy shit!
I know.
It's the snake eating its own tail.
I know. How far does this rabbit hole go?
Oh, you're freaking me. So Jess, was the book better?
Well, I guess I'll have to answer this because you wouldn't know.
No, well, I have seen the net. I got it on VHS when it was first released on VHS, so I did see it then.
Uh-huh.
And come on, Jess, life's too short for me to watch that movie twice. Certain things rang a bell, but not the details.
I'm going to say the book was better because there was more profanity.
I love this book. It's such a good book.
It was honestly a really fun read. Sometimes it's painful, but this one, I just laughed merrily all the way through.
Incredibly entertaining book. The book was definitely better. Well done, Lenore Fleischer. I'm sure that it wasn't your fault. The net wasn't around for you to solve this problem.
Exactly.
It must have been very, very confusing. And I'm sure Rain Man is amazing.
Man, I'd love to read that one.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for listening.
And now, the storm's coming up. Our boat's getting very, very...
I think you have to actually get up for it, then it'll...
Choppy. Is it doing? It's not doing it. People will be listening.
Yeah.
There'll be nothing.
Fuck
and
you
going, that's
talking about?
really weird. There's no boat. How does... I want to do a whale song. I can't.
Meow.
Make cat. The shopping bag full of cream.
All right, that's enough of this nonsense.
Enough of us wasting your time.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in a week with the teaser for the next episode. Oh, shit. You know what we forgot to mention? Something special about this episode.
Oh, number 25.
What? And we've been doing it for a year.
This is our year.
This is the year. We have been doing this.
Of the book was better.
This is the year, the anniversary. So if you have listened to us from the beginning, you're amazing. If you joined us later and went back and listened to the archives, you're amazing. God, even if this is your first episode, you're amazing. Thank you so much for listening to us. Please don't steal our identities. You know a lot about us.
And how about getting on our Facebook page and we'll chat? We'll always respond to stuff.
Why not?
Get on Facebook. We've got 30 likes, Jess.
Oh, shit. That's amazing.
After a year. I know we haven't had the Facebook for a year.
No.
But come on.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of those people too.
Facebook is the worst, though.
Oh, is
really?
It? No. The people that are into it love it.
Yeah.
I'll get on there. I'll respond. If I see little notifications come up, I'll get on. I'll say hey. And we'll talk about movies and books. And
look us up on Facebook, on Twitter at BWB Podcast. And our site on thebookwasbetterpodcast.com. My voice is going.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the flips.
On the net.